Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the relationship between circumference and area. We can use circumference to find the area of a circle. There's 3 steps to do that. Number 1, we're going to plug in all of our known values to the circumference formula, and the circumference formula is pi times diameter. Then number 2, we're going to isolate the variable by using opposite operations. And for number 3, we're going to use our new information that we learned yesterday to find the area, in which the formula is area equals pi times radius squared. All right, so we're going to practice this. For number 1, we have a circle whose circumference is 22 meters. What is the approximate area of the circle? And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. All right, so we have a circumference here of 22 meters. We know that our circumference formula is pi times diameter, okay? So if we have our circumference 22 and we know 3.14 and we have our diameter, we're going to solve for d by dividing by 3.14 on both sides, leaving us with d equals 7. Okay, we know that our radius is half the size of the diameter, so in this case, our radius, 7 divided by 2, gives us 3.5 for our radius, approximately 3.5. All right. So now when we're looking for the area, we know area equals pi r squared. Okay, so we have our area. We're using 3.14 in this case, so we have 3.14 times 3.5 squared. Okay. And then when we do 3.5 squared, we have 12.25, okay? And when we do 3.14 times 12.25, we end up with approximately 38.465. And when we're doing that, we are looking over here at our unit. We have meters, and because it's area, we have meters squared, okay? And if you guys noticed, I use an approximate instead of equal because we are finding the approximate area. We don't know exactly what the area is, but we know an estimate of what we think it is, okay? So here's our final answer for the area. Now we're going to move on to number 2. We have, zoom in a little bit. Okay, we have a circular pool with a circumference of 61.9 feet. What is the area to the nearest square foot? And we're using 3.14 for pi. Okay, so we're going to start here. Let's change back to our red. We have circumference equals pi times diameter. We have our 61.9 equals 3.14 times diameter. When we divide by 3.14, we are left with 20 approximately for our diameter. And we know that our radius is half of the diameter, so our radius must be 10. Okay, so then we go over and we're going to find the area. We know our area formula is pi r squared. So we have our area equals 3.14 times 10 squared. We know 10 squared, 10 times 10 gives us 100. So we're doing 3.14 times 100. And that gives us an area of 314 feet squared, or square feet, you can also say. Okay, so that gives us our area there. Okay, that was an easy one because if you look up here, we have 3.14 and we're multiplying by 100. So in that case, we just have to move our decimal 2 spaces when we're multiplying because we have 2 zeros here. So we move 2 spaces to get our 314. Okay? So now we're going to move down to the next section, and we have using ratios and patterns. Using ratios and patterns to find circumference and area. All right, so we're going to start by, we're going to complete this table over here with the radius of 4, 6, 8, and 10. And we're going to find a pattern within the area and circumference. All right, so we know here A divided by C, okay? And we're going, when we're talking about that, A divided by C is area divided by circumference. Okay? That's what we mean there. And then area divided by circumference is equal to half the radius. That's what we're going to learn. Okay? So let's look over and make sure that we know that's true. So we have 4 for the radius. That gives, and we're getting 16 pi because we did area equals pi r squared. Okay? That's how we got from here to here. Then we come over here to circumference. We have pi times diameter. So our diameter is 8. So if you're looking back at this 4 times 2 for the diameter, that gives you your 8 and then pi. So we have, then we take our 16 pi divided by our 8 pi and we end up with 2. Alright, so let's try it here. We're going to do radius squared, so we're going to have 36 pi. Then we're going to do pi times diameter. Our diameter here would be 6 times 2 is 12 pi. Okay, so then we're going to do 36 pi divided by 12 pi, and we're left with 3/1. Okay, so now on to a radius of 8. When we square that, we get 64 pi. And then if we're looking at the circumference, pi times diameter. Our diameter, 8 times 2 is 16 pi. Okay, so now we have 64 pi divided by 16 pi. That leaves you with 4/1. Okay, if we're looking at 10 as our radius here, 10 squared is 100 pi. So our area with a radius of 10 is 100 pi. 10 times 2 for our diameter gives us 20 pi for the circumference. 100 pi divided by 20 pi leaves us with 5/1. So now we can look back over here at our data we collected over here. And we have A divided by C, so area divided by circumference is equal to half the radius. All right, so we can create a formula here. A divided by C equals half times R. Okay, so that kind of gives us a look at what we're dealing with and how those relate to each other.